And that's cool with me. I don't even know if y'all can see my face, bro. I can't even lie to you. Can't even know y'all can see my face on the live stream. Well, that's alright. Let me go to the thing then. Let me start the recording over here. What is up, everybody? Listen, 4, 3, 2. What is up, everybody? It is your boy Randy, aka the Giblet King, here with Giblet King Sports and Giblet King Radio, doing the 2024 mock draft live stream. I am currently live on 3 different platforms right now. I'm live on Twitch at Giblet King Sports. I'm also live on Instagram at Giblet_sports. Rieger joined. Can you see on the Twitch? Can you see my my face? What's going on with that? And then I'm also live over here for my podcast at Giblet King Radio. Tonight, I'm going to be doing a full 32-team first-round mock draft. I'm going to be giving y'all my thoughts on who I think is going to go where. I'm going to do a little bit of trading. I'm going to be doing picks on team needs, but also what I think is going to happen. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to do some trades. I'm not going to go too crazy on trades. I'm not going to do nothing too crazy. I'm not going to make this some wild thing where I'm drafting random people at random places. That's not what's going to happen here. So let's get it started. The draft room is open. And with the first pick, we have the Bears on the clock, the Chicago Bears. They recently just traded Justin Fields, solidifying who I think is going to be the first the first pick of the draft. They certainly were keeping Bears fans and NFL fans on their toes 1,000%. And the thing is this, they traded Justin Fields for a bag of Cheetos, solidifying that at the number 1 pick, they're taking Caleb Williams, quarterback from USC. I think this is the pick. It's always been the pick. The minute we knew the Bears had the number 1 pick, I think every single person, every single football fan, every single mock drafter knew Justin Fields' time in Chicago was done and Caleb Williams is going to begin. His first year at USC, he played lights out. Obviously, his first year in Oklahoma when he stepped in for Spencer Rattler, he played lights out, which got his name on the board. Went to USC. Oh, no. Went to USC and played lights out his first year there. Second year, had some injuries on the team. He didn't have as good as receivers. He didn't have Jordan Addison anymore. So you kind of saw that Caleb Williams was a little bit human. He wasn't, a robot that can just do everything. But still, I think he's still the best quarterback prospect that we've seen in a long time. Comparable to him is Patrick Mahomes. I know a lot of people don't like that. I know a lot of people think that comparing him to Patrick Mahomes is dumb. I just don't think so. And the Bears would just be stupid to take anybody else but Caleb Williams. I think that's the easiest pick. Everybody knows that's the picks that's coming. And now on the clock is the Washington Commanders. This is where the draft to me really begins because there's so many reports every week. It's a different thing every week. 3 weeks ago, it was the Commanders were taking Drake May 1,000%. Drake May was their guy. Then, 2 weeks ago, Jaden Daniels was their guy. And then last week, J.J. McCarthy is the lock for the Commanders at number 2. So I've been studying a little bit, and I've been reading reports, and obviously it's draft season. You have to take every report that you see with a grain of salt, because let's be honest, not every report is true. Not every report comes from a good source, or it's just a report that's out there, and they're trying to get people off their toes. Maybe the Commanders are high on one quarterback, but they're saying they're going to draft this guy, maybe to get some trade bait. Who knows? But the guy that I see the Commanders taking is quarterback from Michigan, J.J. McCarthy. Let's be honest, J.J. McCarthy, to me, is the only quarterback prospect in this draft that has played in a pro-style offense with a damn good head coach that knows what he's talking about. Yeah, Harbaugh is selling JJ high. He is, he's advertising him like crazy. But who wouldn't? Who wouldn't advertise their quarterback who just won him a national title game? JJ McCarthy is a winning quarterback. He is a good throwing quarterback, and the more I watch film on him, the more pro day stuff I see, the more national title game film I watch. J.J. McCarthy has an arm. Now, is he the second best quarterback in this draft? No. He's the fourth to me. He's number 4. But the Washington Commanders seem like they are in love with this guy, and I don't think it is a Zach Wilson type situation that we saw when the Jets took Zach Wilson. I do think J.J. McCarthy is going to come in. It's a new ownership, new coaching staff, new head coach, and I just think he's going to fit well with this Washington Commanders team. He has Terry McLaurin to throw to, and I'm sure they're going to go out and they're going to get another receiver in this draft. So J.J. McCarthy is my pick at number 2, quarterback from Michigan. Now at number 3, I think this is also an easy pick if the draft does go this way and this cat does fall to the New England Patriots. I do think that they take quarterback from LSU, Jayden Daniels. I think Jayden Daniels is the guy they love. They've been in love with him this whole entire draft process. He won the Heisman. They're looking to rebuild this dynasty that they used to have. This Tom Brady team that took him to multiple Super Bowls. Bill Belichick. It is a new era. We got head coach Mayo as the head coach. No quarterback. They traded Mac Jones for a bag of chips. They need to go quarterback here. I know there's a lot of stuff saying they may trade out. They may take receiver. No way. If you want to win, you have to take the most important position on the field, and that's quarterback. Simple as that. I think Jayden Daniels will work good in the NFL. Yeah, he's taken a lot of hits in college. I'm an LSU fan. I've seen it multiple times. It's a little scary, but I think it happens. Jayden Daniels to the New England Patriots. Then we get to number 4. Arizona Cardinals are now on the clock. This pick to me is hard. This is a hard pick. One of the hardest in the draft. Do they sit, do they stay, and do they take the best receiver in the draft, a position they really need, in Marvin Harrison, or do they listen to trade offers, get more assets for this number 4 overall pick? And because honestly, this is one of the worst rosters in the NFL right now. They don't have anybody. The number 1 receiver right now is Michael Wilson. The defense side of the ball is not great. They don't have any known names, no big-time guys on their team. Would you take Marvin Harrison or would you trade? There's a team that wants to take a quarterback. Probably multiple teams that want to go quarterback. Who has the better assets to give the Cardinals? Is it the Giants? Is it the Raiders? Is it the Vikings? Is it the Broncos? All these teams are looking to trade up to get a quarterback, a good quarterback at that. And with the number 2 overall quarterback in this draft still available, somebody has to make the move. Somebody has to either overpay and get the guy they want, or the Cardinals sit and take Marvin Harrison. I honestly think that the Cardinals are going to trade. I personally think that's happening. I think the Cardinals are going to trade that number 4 overall pick to the Minnesota Vikings. So right now I'm just going to trade the 4 for the 11. I got to do 2 separate transactions because for some reason the simulator doesn't like giving 2 first for a 4. So I think it'll be the number 4 overall pick. The Cardinals send the number 4 to the Minnesota Vikings for the 11th pick in the first round, the 23rd in the first round, and I'm going to say probably a 4th and a 5th. It's going to take a lot. Let's be honest. It'll take a ton to get them. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to send that 23rd overall pick to the Cardinals. I think it is a big haul. You're giving 2 first-round picks for the number 4, but I think when you got the second best quarterback in the draft still available here at number 4, you have to do what you have to do. You have to give up what you have to give up. You have Justin Jefferson. He's not happy with the quarterback situation. He wanted to keep Kirk Cousins. The Vikings didn't want to pay Kirk. Not wrong. They probably should not have paid Kirk. I wouldn't have paid Kirk. He's old. So go out there, make the trade, make Justin Jefferson happy, and go out. And the Minnesota Vikings at number 4 are going to draft Drake May, quarterback from UNC. There's been a lot of hate on this guy these past months, honestly. His pro day wasn't the best. He was overthrowing receivers, yes. But let's not forget, 2 months ago, people were saying Drake May was giving Caleb Williams a run for the number 1 overall pick. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget people said that Caleb Williams was 1A quarterback in this draft and Drake May was 1B. You cannot tell me that a pro day really solidified him falling 3 spots, going below guys like JJ and Jaden Daniels, because I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. Yeah, teams are going to love their quarterback. Teams are going to love the quarterback and they're going to go. We've seen guys go before greats. Mitchell Trubisky was drafted before Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. Trey Lance was drafted before guys like Justin Fields. So the Vikings are not going to overthink this pick. They're going to trade. They have to. If they want to keep Justin Jefferson happy and they want to keep the best receiver in the NFL on their team, they are going to make the trade. And I would be damn happy if I was Justin Jefferson and they said, Minnesota Vikings select quarterback, North Carolina, Drake May. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. That has to happen. You have to be aggressive. At number 4, you have to. Because if you're not aggressive, a team like the Giants or a team like the Broncos is going to move up and they're going to take it. Someone's going to have to be aggressive, and I think the Vikings are the team more than anyone that have to. They have more on the line. The Giants don't even have a team. They don't have a team to build around right now. To me, they can get a quarterback, and they still will not be a playoff team. No, not a shot. It won't happen. The Broncos, same with the Broncos. They don't have the team to be a playoff team. Not right now. Not if they draft a quarterback. Who the number 1 receiver is Courtland Sutton, who they already talking about trading. No shot. There's no shot that happens. The Vikings have the most on the line, and they can benefit the most with a quarterback right now. A good rookie quarterback right now. Their offense is good. They have a good offense. Aaron Jones, running back. Best receiver in the game, Justin Jefferson. With Jordan Addison. With a great tight end, TJ Hawk. Now, let's be honest. It's going to happen. I think it's the right move. I don't care if they overpay. It's the right move. So let's move on. Now at number 5, we have the LA Chargers on the clock. Now, this is where I thought the trade would happen. I thought originally in my other mock drafts, the Cardinals would stick here, and they would 100%. The Cardinals would stick at 4, and they would take Marvin, and then the Chargers would be the team to move out. Now, they're sitting here. No quarterback I think it's worth trading up for 5 at 5. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. sitting there. You just cut Mike Williams. You traded Keenan Allen. You have right now your receiving core is Quentin Johnston and Joshua Palmer. Quentin Johnston already looks like a bust. And Joshua Palmer, yes, has had great games, but couldn't stay healthy last season. You automatically give Justin Herbert a number 1 who can be great for many years. I know a lot of people are saying Malik Nabers is now the number 1 receiver because Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't, do a pro day. He didn't work out for anybody at the combine. At the end of the day, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a number 1 prospect receiver. Let's be honest. If you don't go Marvin Harrison here, if you're the Chargers and you don't do that, you're going to have a lot of Chargers fans pissed, and people just won't be happy, let's be honest. Let's be honest with each other. It just won't happen. So at number 5, Los Angeles Chargers take Marvin Harrison Jr. to give Justin Herbert a solidified weapon. Now on the clock, we got the New York Giants. The New York Football Giants at number 6. yes, they were a candidate to trade up to get a quarterback. They were also hoping that J.J. McCarthy would fall to them at 6. Now we're in a situation they need quarterback. They need a lot of things. Their team is the second worst behind the Cardinals. They are horrible. Daniel Jones is not it. The receiving core is gross. The number one is Darius Slayton, who is probably one of the most inconsistent receivers in the league. So the smartest pick for the New York Giants here is taking the second best receiver, Malik Nabers, out of LSU. A straight dog, ran a 4.3, I think it was a 4.39, 4.38 at his pro day. He looked great. He's shifty as heck, man. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be... I think his comparison to me is Jamar Chase. I know they're both from LSU. I just think he has a lot of potential. His ceiling is high. I think it's going to happen for him. Now at number 7, we got the Tennessee Titans on the clock. I honestly think this is an easy pick. I think a lot of people... The next 2-3 picks to me are easy. The Titans need one thing. They need O-line. If they're rolling with Will Levis, they need O-line. They got Calvin Ridley. They got D-Hop. They signed Tony Pollard. So go out and you get the number 1 offensive lineman on the board. They're going to draft Notre Dame offensive tackle Joe Alt. Probably one of the best tackle prospects that we've seen in a minute. He's really good. He doesn't give up sacks. He's really good in the run. He pancakes guys left and right. I think he can play any position on the field, on the O-line, honestly. I think the Titans get a good thing here. They're building well around Will Levis. Let's not mess that up for him. Next on the clock, at number 8, we got the Atlanta Falcons. So the first 7 picks, we have nothing but offensive guys off the board. Nothing but offensive guys off the board. And here, the Falcons can go, I think, in 2 ways only. Do they say, they do need defense. Do we go Dallas Turner here out of Alabama? Or do we add to that receiving core and add Rome Odunze to the core? Let's give Kirk another weapon. It's difficult thinking about it. I sat here and I thought about it for a month now. And I've drafted the same guy in every mock draft that I've done. But every time it's on the clock and it's the Falcons' turn, I sit here and I say, man, Rome Odunze in that offense would be pretty scary. But I think the Falcons take the first defensive guy off the board. I think the Falcons take Dallas Turner, edge rusher out of Alabama. Dude is a dog. I did a player profile on TikTok. I give the King Sports on him. I think his comparison is Micah. His ceiling is high. He gets sacks. Yeah, his stats aren't going to be crazy highlighted things that are going to, when people go and they look at stats, they're going to be like, oh wow, he didn't do much. But if you look at film, he was getting double teamed. Teams were turning around on what they were doing because he's that great. Simple as that. On to the next pick, number 9, Chicago Bears are back on the clock. So the Bears, to me, can go 3 different positions here on the offense. And I've contemplating on what they should do. Do they go Fashanu out of Penn State, Brock Bowers out of Georgia, or Rome Odunze out of Washington? Do you add either a tight end weapon, even though that they got Kmet, and now even though they just signed Gerald Everett? Do they add another dog, another Army Swiss knife to that team? Or do they add O-line help? They just drafted O-line last season. I think looking at their O-line, yeah, they definitely could use an old offensive lineman. Or do you go out and you get a receiver? Keenan Allen is probably a 1 or 2 year rental. He probably has 1 or 2 more great years in him. You got DJ Moore. You need a third guy. Their roster is not good right now. Their third receiver right now is Tyler Scott. I don't like that per se. I'm not a big fan on that. So yeah, let's be easy here. The Chicago Bears take Rome Odunze out of Washington. Michael Penix is number 1 guy. He was a game changer. Things change. The games change when he was getting the ball. The Bears shouldn't overthink it. Add another weapon to this team. Don't overthink it. You shouldn't. Now on the clock at number 10, the New York Football Giants. Oh, sorry, Jets. Giants fans, if you're upset, I apologize. So the Jets did a lot of soul searching, I feel, in this offseason. They added a ton of guys. They just traded for Josh Sweat, sorry. They just traded for Josh Sweat. They didn't give up too much to get Josh Sweat as well. They added a lot of defensive guys. They added offensive linemen. If they didn't add the offensive linemen that they did, I'd probably take Fashanu here. But let's add Brock Bowers out of Georgia to this team. Let's give Aaron Rodgers another weapon for the next few years that he has left, and set up the next quarterback that's going to come in and give them Brock Bowers. Essentially, one of the best tight end prospects we've seen in a while. I know teams get scared because of the whole Kyle Pitts thing. Kyle Pitts, yeah, he can scare a lot of, tight ends scare because Kyle Pitts was the next best thing since, Cheerios, you know what I'm saying? And then he comes in and he duds. He just duds. And it just feels like there's a lot of tight ends recently. Sam Laporta, he went crazy, but he was not a first-round guy. But the Jets should not overthink this. Get that Swiss Army knife. You've seen Brock Bowers line up in the slot. You've seen Brock Bowers line up in the backfield. Add that weapon for Aaron Rodgers. To me, they turn into a Super Bowl favorite immediately. Obviously, Rodgers has to stay healthy. Now here at number 11, we have the Arizona Cardinals on the clock. This team is horrible. Their roster is so bad. It's the worst roster in the NFL to me. It is horrible. They need receiver. They need running back. They need defensive line. Their O-line's okay, but they can use better offensive linemen. The linebackers are bad. Their rushers are bad, and their cornerbacks are bad. So to me, the trade with the Vikings was the best move for them. They get 2 extra picks, plus probably a 4th and a 5th. You can add to your roster. You can add depth to that roster, right? Where do they go here? Who do they add? We still have Fashanu on the board. They can go cornerback at Terrion Arnold. Or do they potentially go edge with Latu or Verse? So I sat here, I was, obviously I practiced a mock draft and I was thinking about it last night. Who am I going to take? I think they go cornerback here, but I don't think it's Terrion Arnold. I think they're going to go Keon Mitchell. To me, his combine, his pro day, solidified him as I think he made the jump. He made the jump over Arnold because Arnold honestly didn't have a great pro day and he honestly didn't have a great combine. His 40 wasn't as fast as people thought it would be. So I think Keon Mitchell made that jump just because of his athletic ability. Let's be honest. I think Keon Mitchell's the pick here. I'm going to stick to it. I think it's the right pick. Let's be honest with each other. He's a great cornerback. He's a shutdown cornerback, and he gets picks. Don't overthink it. Now we got the Broncos, Denver Broncos on the clock at 12. A team that I thought would try to trade up for a quarterback, try to get in on the J.J. McCarthy, Drake May sweepstakes. Every time I do a mock draft, I've drafted the same guy for him. I just think they have to go quarterback. They don't have a second-round pick. They don't have many draft picks this go-around. They don't have the assets to try and make a strong offer to a team in the top 4 or 5 to go get one of those 4 quarterbacks. They just don't. And if I'm the Broncos, I'm not trading future first because this roster is bad. You need those picks. You need those picks to better your team. You have to go quarterback here. Now, I was contemplating, do you go Bo Nix or do you go Michael Penix? And then I'm thinking, okay, Sean Payton's their head coach. Bo Nix is kind of getting compared to Drew Brees in a sense. I've seen on the ESPN, NFL Network, they've kind of compared him to a Drew Brees type S player. So why would Sean Payton not go get that guy? I think it's Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is the sleeper of the draft. Yeah, pick 12 is probably high. and maybe the Broncos trade back and they can get him at the end of the draft. Probably. But I don't know if I'm the Broncos, do I have enough to risk it? You know what I'm saying? Do I have enough to risk not taking the quarterback at 12? Because the NFL draft is crazy. Let's be honest. It's just crazy. Crazier things have happened. You know, Spencer Rattler might be a first-round pick because Johnny Manziel was a first. Let's not forget that. Mitch Trubisky went before Pat Mahomes. Let's not forget it. So I think Bo Nix is the guy with the Broncos. I think they make the right pick. I think he's going to be a quarterback for a long time with that team. I think he's going to have success if they build the right pieces around him. Sean Payton's going to coach him up. He's a great coach. I don't care what anybody says. I know the Russell Wilson train didn't work. Broncos, let's ride. I know that didn't work. That train's gone. Russell's going to go stink it up in Pittsburgh. Bo Nix is the guy here. Now, to the 13th pick, we got the Las Vegas Raiders on the clock. And I was thinking the same situation that I was thinking with the Broncos. Can they risk not taking a quarterback here? Can they risk it? Can they risk skipping on the quarterback and going a different position? Because they can 100% use O-line and they can 100% use a cornerback. And this pick, I sat probably 45 minutes thinking about, texted a few people about it, got their opinions on it, and I think they can risk it. I think that they sit here, they got the second best offensive lineman at number 13, and they're going to take the offensive tackle from Penn State, Alumaria Fashanu. They add to that offensive line. They add to the O-line that's bad, and if you're going to go with a guy like Gardner Minshew this season, or like Coach Pierce has said, Aiden O'Connell was our guy. If you're going to go with those guys, you need to have a good offensive lineman to protect his blind side. You need to have a guy that's going to be able to run block well and pass block like Fashanu does. You have to do it. You have to give those type of quarterbacks time. That's the only way they succeed. Only way. So now we're on to the 14th pick with my favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. And this is another kind of pick where I was thinking, can we take quarterback here? Can we have someone, be behind Derek Carr for a couple years, learn? And then the Ramczyk news came out that he's potentially missing the entire season because his knee injury isn't healing right. So there's only one position to me that you draft here. Only one position that you have to draft here, and that's offensive line. Derek Carr is not a scrambler. He's obviously our quarterback for the future. You have to go O-line. Now, do we go Talise Fuaga, Troy Fautanu, Amarius Mims, or J.C. Latham? To me, out of those guys, Fuaga is the guy. I think he's the better offensive tackle. Looking at film, I think he would work best with New Orleans. He would fit right into our scheme. So that's what I'm taking here. Offensive tackle, Oregon State, to the New Orleans Saints, Talise Fuaga. Can't overthink it. You need to replace Ramczyk. You can't wait. Don't wait into second round, third round to do that. Get a good guy now. I think he's best available for me, especially for this team. Now on the clock, we have the Indianapolis Colts. Now, do you go receiver here, add to Michael Pittman? Alec Pierce, he's not great. Is Joshua Downs a guy? A little inconsistent last season. Or do you add cornerback to the team? To a defense that's a little inconsistent as well. Ultimately, I'm going defense, and I'm taking Terrion Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama. A lot of people say he's the number one cornerback in this draft. You're getting him at number 15 at a great value. If he's a stud like he is and like he did play at Alabama, I think it's a right pick here. You add to your defense. The Colts defense was great at one point. Over the last few seasons, that's just died down. You know, when Shaquille Leonard was healthy and they had him and he wasn't getting hurt, they were a top defense in the league. So let's add Terrion Arnold. He's going to be a leader right away when he walks in. There you go. That's that pick. Next up at number 16, the Seattle Seahawks. And for this whole month, these past few months, I've had them taking O-line. Ever since I started doing mock drafts about a month and a half to 2 months ago, I had them taking offensive line. Now, looking at reports, the offensive lineman that I thought they'd take obviously is sliding. People don't value him like a lot of us social media people do. So then I started thinking, what can I add? And then I was like, who's their head coach? It's McDonald. You go defense. He's a defensive guy. You have to. He wants to build a defense like he had at Baltimore and with Michigan. So you're going to take the best edge available at this moment. Laiatu Latu, edge rusher out of UCLA. Great story. He medically retired at one point. Came back. Had a phenomenal last season. Yeah, at the beginning of the draft, Minnesota already moved up. They moved up at number 4. They traded the 11th pick and the number 23 pick to the Arizona Cardinals, and they're going to probably add a 4th or a 5th to that to move up, and they drafted Drake May. Just answering some Instagram questions. Now at number 17, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. I think you go receiver here. You lose Calvin Ridley. Yeah, you have Christian Kirk, who has been the number 1 for them for ever since he's been on the team and Trevor's been on the team. He's been their number 1 guy. You got Gabe Davis. He's not a number 1. Let's be honest. He's a hit or miss. I've had many people dog me for drafting him in the draft and mock fantasy drafts all the time. So I think you go receiver here, and you're going to go best available receiver. Brian Thomas out of LSU going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ultimately, Brian Thomas is a 50-50 guy, 50-50 ball catcher. I think he's going to add a lot to Trevor Lawrence's game. I think we'll see what we thought we'd see with Calvin Ridley. I think Brian Thomas has a chance, a sleeper, to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I think it boosts them right away. So now on the clock, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. Do you go receiver here? T. Higgins news. My damn alarm keeps going off. Do you go T. Higgins? If T. Higgins moves, do you go receiver? Is he going to move during the draft? Do they have some in the work? I don't know. I think they would be dumb to get rid of Higgins, but do they want to pay Higgins? Right? That's ultimately what it will come down to. So I think they go defensive tackle here, and I think they're going to take Byron Murphy, defensive tackle out of Texas. He is a run stopper. He is a force to be reckoned with in the middle of the middle of that line. He tested really well at the combine. I was contemplating, is Newton the better D tackle? Some have him ranked a little better. I think they go D tackle. They get a run stopper. They add some juice to this defense, and let's get Joe Burrow healthy, and let's be Super Bowl favorites again. I'm not a Bengals fan. All right. So next, we have the LA Rams on the clock. They added a lot of defensive guys in free agency. They lost Aaron Donald. Big miss. You're going to miss Aaron Donald. But you potentially get a replacement, hopefully, in this draft. You hopefully get somebody in this draft. I think they go edge rusher Jared Verse out of Florida State. He is a guy. He is a dude to be reckoned with. He is a run stopper. To me, he's one of the best pass rushers in this draft. And can I see him not falling to 19? Can I see someone taking him over Latu? Can I see him going to a different team? Yeah, I can definitely see it. I wouldn't be shocked. But if he does fall to the Rams, this is a no sleeper pick. Don't sleep on that. Get him. I know a lot of people think they should go quarterback. I don't think so. They can get a Matthew Stafford replacement in the third or fourth and go get Travis. Go get him. On to the next. At number 20, we have the Steelers now on the clock. Pittsburgh Steelers. Just traded for Justin Fields. Just signed Russell Wilson. They need O-line help. You got two scramblers. Russell Wilson's an okay scrambler. But you got two running quarterbacks. Let's add to the O-line. Give these guys some time. Broncos didn't have an O-line for Russell, and I think that's a big reason why he struggled. Let's go and get Troy Fautanu, offensive tackle for Washington. Best rated offensive line in college. Let's add a stud to that O-line. Let's get Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, whoever is going to be there, whoever's going to be the starter sometime. They got decent receivers. They got a good tight end. Steelers are a force to be reckoned with. They somehow always make the playoffs, somehow always have a winning record, and always lose in the wild card. Let's give your quarterbacks a protection, enough time to throw that ball, and let's see what they can do. On to the next pick. At number 21, we have the Miami Dolphins on the clock. A lot of people are saying maybe they should go quarterback. Maybe they should draft quarterback. Tua's contract's going to be way too big to keep. No shot, bro. No shot they go quarterback here. They love Tua in Miami. Dude's had 20 concussions. They love Guy. They're going to add offensive line here. They're going to give him more protection to get that ball to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I think they take Georgia's offensive tackle, Marius Mims, who arguably, to me, in my offensive tackle rankings, I have him at number 2. I think Amarius Mims is the second best offensive tackle in this draft. He does not give up sacks. To me, that is huge. That is huge. He doesn't give up sacks. Every other offensive lineman, they, stat-wise, for O-line, don't have what Amarius Mims has on the stat sheet. It's simple. He is the main reason why Georgia was so productive, why they were so successful. Yes, they lost to Bama. Did they deserve to be in the playoffs? Probably. They would have smacked whoever they played. Everybody in the playoffs are happy they didn't make it. But Dolphins add to that O-line. Terry Armstead already said he might retire. He was already contemplating retirement this season. Go get his replacement. You already lost Robert Hunt. Add another guy to the O-line. Next on the clock, we have, at 22, the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're in a good place here. They made a lot of good moves in the offseason. You added Saquon Barkley. Great move. Added a lot of guys to that defense. But you lost your leader. You lost your leader on that offensive line and in that locker room. You lost your center, Jason Kelce. Best center to ever play the game. I'm rocking his jersey, his New Heights jersey. I think they replace him with the best center in the draft, and they take offensive center from Oregon, Jackson Powers Johnson. He is slipping in the draft a little bit. Nobody is as high as they were on him. I had him going to Seattle at one point in some of my mock drafts. But I think Jackson Powers Johnson is the guy here. They replace Jason Kelce. I'm sure Jason Kelce will still be around the team, give this young cat pointers, and help him become better game after game. I think that's the right move, the best move for them. Replace your center with another good center. Tush Push didn't get banned. Keep it. Keep it. Now on to number 23. Cardinals, they traded the 4. They got the 23 and the 11. Now they're back on the clock. They took Keon Mitchell with that 11th pick. Now you're on, what else do they need? Do they need O-line, defensive tackle, receiver? I think now the best ranked defensive tackle is still on the board at 23. You take the best defensive tackle. You need defensive tackle. They're going to take Johnny Newton or Jaquarius Newton out of Illinois to be a run stopper and to be a force in the middle. I think he's the best defensive tackle. Byron Murphy got drafted before him, but we see guys get drafted before guys that we think are better than. We see it all the time. That's just the NFL. It's very unpredictable. You'll never be able to predict it. Think of Johnny Newton, Jaquarius Newton, and I think they're happy with it. I think they're happy with how their draft is going so far. So next up, at number 24, we have the Dallas Cowboys. At number 24, they lose Tyron Smith. They lose Tony Pollard. They cut Michael Gallup. Leighton Vander Esch retires. They didn't sign anybody in free agency except Eric Kendricks. Cowboys fans are pissed, obviously. When aren't they mad? But I think, to me, the Cowboys are in a great position here. They can make fans happy right here and take offensive tackle out of Alabama, J.C. Latham, who a lot of people think is the second or third best offensive tackle in the draft. That's just how everybody is thinking right now. Every time I post a mock draft and J.C. Latham falls all the way to the 20s or the late teens, I'm getting slack for it. But go look at other mock drafts. J.C. Latham is falling. Yeah, J.C. Latham can shoot up. We still got a few weeks of the draft. But if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, if I'm Dallas Cowboys fans, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm jumping up for joy knowing that J.C. Latham fell to me at number 24. He was a big part of the success at Bama. He was a big part of why Bama was just great. I forgot the quarterback's name. Alabama quarterback, forgot him. Got his name. It is what it is. But I think Cowboys fans should be happy that they're getting J.C. Latham at 24. Now, on the 25, the Green Bay Packers, who beat the Cowboys in the wildcard round. Packers, young, very young offensively. Lost a few guys on the defense. Lost Aaron Jones, but signed Josh Jacobs. Offensive line, they're okay. They lost David Bakhtiari. They cut him. So you're in a position, what do you do here? Do you potentially, go OT? Is there an offensive tackle here that you think is good enough at this position to replace him with? Do you go cornerback? Do you potentially reach for a linebacker? I don't think they reach. I think they do go cornerback here. I think they're going to add Nate Wiggins, cornerback from Clemson. The speed he showed at the combine just was ridiculous. This guy is fast. Nate Wiggins is a fast guy. He's fast. He's athletic. He has jumps. I think this is a guy that immediately will start on this defense. Jair Alexander gets help. Packers are a force to be reckoned with, guys. They're drafting at 25 for a reason. People thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league last season. They shocked a lot of guys. They were a play away, a few penalties away from beating the 49ers. They had a good cornerback here. On to the next. We're going Tampa Bay. They're on the clock at 26. Another team that shocked a lot of guys. They shocked a lot of people this season. Yeah, they had a losing record, but they won the division. And they played well in the playoffs. They looked good in the playoffs. They looked good. Baker looked great. He got a big-time contract for a reason. Now, is he going to continue to play at that consistency? Maybe. If they didn't re-sign Baker, I say they draft quarterback here. I say they get Michael Penix. But they did re-sign him. They did re-sign him. They re-signed Mike Evans too. So I think they're going to go edge rush. I think they're going to get Chop Robinson. Go look at film on Chop. There's a reason Michigan ran the ball 33 times in a row. There is a reason why Michigan ran the ball 30 plus times in a row. Because the first two passes, Chop Robinson was in the backfield, and they realized that if they kept throwing the ball, J.J. McCarthy was going to become sack lunch. They get a good edge rusher here. On to the next, 27th. We got the Cardinals back on the clock. A pick they got when they traded their pick last season to the Houston Texans, who had a great year. They've already got defensive tackle in Johnny Newton. They got cornerback with Keon Mitchell. So now, do they go off, defense again, add some more defensive guys to this team? No, I don't think so. I think they got two great defensive guys. Let's add some weapons for Kyler Murray. Now, do you go Keon Mitchell here? Do you go Adonai Mitchell here? That's a Keon Mitchell, Keon Coleman. Adonai Mitchell or Xavier Worthy? I think they're going to go Xavier Worthy, receiver out of Texas. They add the fastest guy who's going to be entering the NFL, broke the 40 record, was the guy for Quinn Ewers in college. I think Xavier Worthy has potential to have Tyreek Hill talent. A lot of people don't think he's a first-round guy. I think that's wrong. I don't think he's one of the first guys to be off the board for every receiver. But I think he is a guy. I think he is a stud. Yeah, it could go a route like John Ross, who did hold the record for the 40, and that be nothing. He's already out of the league. I don't think so. He's going to bulk up. He's going to be probably the number one weapon for Kyler Murray, and he has a chance to break 1,000 yards this season. So they get Xavier Worthy. So they went Keon Mitchell, Johnny Newton, and now Xavier Worthy. Great draft for the first round so far. And next up, at 28, we have the Buffalo Bills. They're going to go defense here. I had them going receiver a lot, but they lost a lot on defense. They had to cut a lot of guys. So go out and get a guy who's probably slipped a little too far, and with Cooper DeJean, safety/cornerback out of Iowa. He's failed because he broke his leg. Injury that's not going to affect him in the NFL. He's almost healed from it already. Get a dude. Let's get back to the basics for the Bills. Your defense has to be good to win games. Your offense has to be consistent to win games. Let's add Cooper DeJean to the Bills. Next up, at number 29, we have the Detroit Lions picking. A team who ultimately won the draft last season. Jahmyr Gibbs, already a stud. Campbell at linebacker, stud. Branch at cornerback/safety, stud. Sam Laporta already being said top tight end in the league already. So I think they're going defense here. They're going to add to the cornerback position. They're going to get Kool-Aid McKinstry, who before this season a lot of people said was better than Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold obviously had a good season, right? So let's go Kool-Aid here. Let's not, overthink it too much. On to the next. Number 30. Baltimore Ravens. Add Derrick Henry. Add some more offensive line guys. One play away from going to the Super Bowl. One fumble away from potentially going to the Super Bowl. I think the only position they need to think about adding here is receiver. Let's add another receiver to this team. Let's go out. Let's go get probably the best 50-50 ball guy in the draft in Keon Coleman out of Florida State. Let's go get the best, not the best receiver, but the best 50-50 ball guy in the draft in Keon Coleman. They need receiver. They got Derrick Henry. Add a receiver to Lamar's resume. He hasn't had the best. I'm not going to discredit him on the throwing. He hasn't been the best thrower either. This past season he was, and there's a reason they were in the position they were in because of that passing that he did. He improved that tremendously. Tremendously. Add Keon Coleman, continue to ride that wave. Ride the wave of Derrick Henry. Baltimore Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl next year. Alrighty, on to the next. Pick 31. San Francisco 49ers. And we got a trade alert. Got another trade here. I think the 49ers trade out with the Las Vegas Raiders. I think Raiders are coming back into this draft. You'll see who I take. So I think it'll be probably a similar type trade that Lamar got traded for when the Baltimore Ravens came in and traded for Lamar. Trade to get Lamar. I think it'll be a second and probably a fourth pick for the number 31 pick. As you can tell, Niners don't have as many picks, so why not add a little bit more in the later draft? You can probably get the guy you were already looking at in the later part. Let's make that trade. And the Raiders trade back in to get their quarterback of the future, Michael Penix Jr. His pro day solidified a lot for me. He's fast. He can throw. He has a big arm. He's accurate. He is just a dude. I thought 13 was just too high to take him. But for the right price, they can come in here and get him at 31. I don't think Gardner Minshew is a dude. I don't think Aiden O'Connell was a dude. I know Pierce has come out and he said, those are the guys for the team. I think that's dumb. If you're banking your coaching career on those two quarterbacks, you're probably not going to be a head coach for this team too long. Penix does not have to start right away. You can start O'Connell. You can start Gardner. But by week 8, week 4, Michael Penix will be the starter. Devontae Adams will be a lot happier. Michael Mayer is going to be a lot happier. Zamir White is going to be a lot happier. I like the trade here. I like it. I think Michael Penix played his way into the first. I think his pro day solidified that for me. Don't overthink Michael Penix. He was a first-round guy pre-national championship game. He was getting eaten up. He got ate up in the national title game. Best offensive line folded under pressure. And we didn't see the best Michael Penix that we could see. The UT game, the game prior to that national title game, solidified to me he was a first-round guy. He's a first-round talent. Raiders get a good guy here, and they get the future of their franchise here. Now on to the Super Bowl champs at number 32. I thought they would go receiver here. The more I think about it, I think they're going to go O-line. They're going to take Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma, offensive tackle. And that went away. And they're going to add to the O-line. They're going to add a lot of more O-line help. Their O-line's already good. They have a good O-line already. But let's add more to the O-line. Give Pat Mahomes a little more time. They will get a receiver. And that is the draft. There we go. That was my draft. Thank you, everybody, for coming on and listening. If you are listening via Twitch, via Instagram, thank y'all so much for the support. I love y'all so much. I'll be posting clips probably on TikTok here in the next day. Thank y'all again for all the support. It means so much to me. I love y'all. Y'all have a great night. Happy Easter. How you in this bad boy?